Date, what are we going to do? It left.
That eye.
Do you know something about it?
Yes. It was kinda cute.
You are insane.
If you examine the volleyball on day 4 when Pewter is present, he'll mention that the act of spiking is an important aspect of volleyball, followed by him saying this.
Spiking. Spike Chun?
What is that?
An abbreviation for Spike Chunsoft, the developers of the Somnium Files. If you examine the skis on day 2, Boss will ask Date if he has heard about the murder case that happened at a resort called Spur. This is a direct reference to the series of murders that occurred at the Spur Ski Lodge in Kamaitachi no Yoru, or Banshee Last Cry in the West. If you look closely at the male idol poster behind Boss's desk, you'll notice that there's an icon at the bottom right corner. That icon is the mascot character Usami from the game Super Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. When you investigate the darts machine on day 4, Date and Aiba will have this conversation.
Maybe if you get a high score, you get a clue.
Do you really think that is the case? This isn't an escape room.
This is a reference to a dartboard puzzle that can be found in the rec room in Virtue's Last Reward. If you examine the Sunfish pocket sign in the maid cafe, there's a chance that Date will mention about rearranging the letters. This is a hint towards the fact that Sunfish Pocket is an anagram for Spike Chunsoft. Whenever you visit the Sunfish Pocket Maid Cafe, you'll notice a billboard for 9 hours, 9 person, and 9 doors. If you look even higher, you'll also see billboards for the Nonary Games bundle and Zero Time Dilemma. On the side, there's a billboard that reads Akirabara SP Chun Theater, which is also a reference to Spike Chunsoft. Whenever you visit Lemniscate, there's a TV that shows the company's idols. One of the idols is the pinup girl that can be found in the crew quarters in Virtue's Last Reward. When talking to Oda Matsushita, you soon learn that he has a pen name and goes by Odoin Kyoma. In the game archives, it mentions that he came up with the pen name by taking the name of a popular fictional character and altering it. This is a reference to Steins Gate, where the protagonist, Rentaro Okabe, is a self-proclaimed scientist named Hoen Kyoma. According to the game's archives, Mizuki has a hobby of Cleone breeding. This could be a reference to Zanki Zero Last Beginnings, where there are tentacle-like parasites called Cleone that the main characters use to fight off against creatures. It could also not be a reference to Zanki Zeros and is just talking about sea slugs. In one of A-Set's videos, she mentions that her top 3 favorite mascot characters are Tama from 428 Shibuya Scramble, Monokuma from Danganronpa, and an in-game mascot character named Adarabbit. She describes it as a rabbit that came from a rough future. This could be a reference to Zero Jr. from Virtue's Last Reward, who is also a rabbit from a rough future. Also, its fingers and toes are covered in pink blood, which could be a reference to Danganronpa's pink blood. Interesting fact, in Japanese, the mascot character is called an Usa-Renpa, which is a reference to the all-powerful entity that is a Funya-Renpa. If you don't know what a Funya-Renpa is, apologize. In A-Set's video, Exploring a Dream World, she comments how the merry-go-round is spinning so fast that someone can be churned into butter. Perhaps that's a reference to Mondo Awada's execution, where he was placed in a cage and spun so fast that he came out as a package of butter. If you investigate Bloom Park with Iris on day 2, then you're able to examine the Panda Bear ride. Then Iris will say this.
A black and white bear? I'm not gonna be punished, am I?
What are you talking about?
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
Nothing. Just just thinking about a game I like.
Okay. On one of the routes, you'll come across an item in the game called Odoroki-Man chocolates, best known for having a sticker in every bag. It is said to have over 30 Mascot characters, but Steam lets you see 5 of them as badges, and each one is a reference to a Spike Chunsoft character. There's Lady Gang Leader, who is a reference to Hinako Nakayama from Ken Kabancho Otome, Girl Beats Boys. There's Lagomorph III, who is a reference to the actual Lagomorph, aka Zero III, aka Zero Jr. from Virtue's Last Reward. The Gentleman Crow is a reference to Zero 2 from Zero Time Dilemma. And the super rare Tsundere Robo-Bear is another reference to Monokuma from Danganronpa. And then there's Bubble. I don't know what this is supposed to be a reference to. When I tried researching this, the closest I got was that it's from the Steins Gate franchise. But if that was true, then the only conclusion I can draw is that it's an Oopa. A really gelled up Oopa. I'm not 100% on this, so if you happen to know what this is a reference to, please let me know in the comments. In Sinking in the Sustain, you can examine the different autographs hanging from the wall, with the choices being left, middle, and right. The autographs are signed by the main villains of their respective games, which also acts as the first entry in their series.
Hongo?
Who is that?
Unknown. I can't picture the face.
The left one is signed by Gentaro Hongo, or Ace, from 999, and also makes a reference to a condition he has called prosopagnosia, an inability to recognize familiar faces. The jingle is the main theme of the Zeroscape franchise, and 99 Seconds is a reference to 999.
Enoshima?
Who is that?
Unknown, but I hope we will find out.
The middle one is signed by Junko Enoshima, the ultimate fashionista and mastermind from Trigger Happy Havoc Danganronpa. The jingle is the main theme of the game's mascot, Monokuma, and the 78 seconds is a reference to her class number at Hope's Peak Academy. Also, if you play this with the Japanese audio, when Date asks who she is, Aiba responds with
さあ、絶望的にわからない。
which roughly translates to, well, I despairingly don't know, which is a reference to her love of despair.
Mikimoto?
Who is that?
A photographer with some sort of beard like a mountain man?
The right one is signed by Yosuke Mikimoto, a tall bearded cameraman from BANSHEE'S Last Cry. I'm not sure about the significance of the jingle it plays, but the 12 seconds could be a reference to the note the gang receives that states that somebody's gonna get murked at midnight. Examining all these autographs will net you the trophy Crazy Awful Customers on the PS4. Whenever you enter a Somnium, you perform a Somnium scan and reveal the mental locks you have to break in order to dive deeper into the dreamer's dream. The sound effect for each mental lock reveal is the same sound effect used in 999 when you're shown the rooms of a puzzle you'll have to escape from. Also, whenever you save in 999, you'll hear this sound. This sound is also present whenever you manually save in Somnium Files, but only on the Switch version. So there's this inspector you run into throughout the game. I kinda forgot what his name was. Maybe Date knows.
You still don't know?
No, not yet, but I've almost got it. 3 syllables, 6 letters. Kodaka, right?
Not even close.
This is probably a reference to Kazutaka Kadaka, the creator of the Danganronpa series and one of Uchikoshi's friends. Unfortunately, that's not this guy's name. Oh well, I guess we'll never know Kagami's name. In Sinking in the Refrain, there are various doors used to travel across the different floors in the puzzle, with letters written on them with a red substance. This is similar to how the numbered doors in the Titanic are written in 999. Also, there are certain doors that require 999 seconds to open, and in some cases can give you a times 999 timey, which could be another reference to 999. There's a lot of 9s in that game. You can barely see this, but if you look really close at the wine bottle in Sinking in the Brain, then you notice that it has a label that says Spike Chunsoft Original Wine, 1972. This is a reference to Spike Chunsoft, the company who developed The Somnium Files. However, I don't know what the year 1972 is a reference to. In Sinking in the Main 2, there are 2 guardian dog statues that you can examine. If you inspect it the first time, nothing happens. But when you inspect it a second time...
This reminds me of Nagito. You should refer to him as Ultimate Lucky Student.
I'm Nagito Komaeda. Nice to meet you.
So the reason why he's here is because in Japanese, the word for guardian dog statue is komainu, which sounds similar to Nagito's last name, Komaeda.
A guardian dog statue.
Right, but what did you say earlier?
Nothing. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. When trying to figure out the mystery of Frozen Iris, Aiba will eventually refer to her as All Ice, or Alice. This is a reference to 999, where there's an Egyptian priestess found hidden in the game that's frozen in a special kind of ice that doesn't melt at room temperature. It could also be a reference to Alice from Virtue's Last Reward, but don't worry, they're 2 totally different characters. I think. And we have reached the end of the video. There's probably more references I didn't mention, but this video is already longer than what I'm used to. Again, if you happen to find more, or even manage to correct some, feel free to leave them in the comments. Finding them while playing the game was fun, and researching them was even more fun because I get to learn more about previous games like the Ken Kabancho one. Hopefully there'll be more Easter eggs when new games come out. But until then, thank you so much for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed it, consider supporting me in the links in the description, and I'll see you guys later.
Dangan?
Ronpa.
Danganronpa.